Mama's been hurting, 'cause Daddy's been down. Ain't nobody been working since the mill left town. They got two youngins not 10 years old, with $200 left in his billfold. And a week's worth of groceries is the price of gold when your whole damn country's been bought and sold. Never there's been hard times, it's always made hard folks who could get her to the other side and not let it be all she wrote. I'd love to live to be an old man, but God, you can take me a young one. Just don't let the land I love die so young. Of thee I sing, I've been flying low in my troubled mind. Get to digging me a hole my soul can't climb. It's the end of the world, but nobody knows, 'cause they all just stare at the trash on their phones in a land that's littered with many men's bones who died fighting for somewhere they could call home. Whenever there's been hard times, it's always made hard folks who could get her to the other side and not let it be all she wrote. I'd love to live to be an old man, but God, you can take me a young one. Just don't let the land I love die so young. Of thee I sing,
flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, yeah.
What is going on, Hive? How's everybody doing? Oh, you're getting your face covered up by the screen. Oh, of course. Mrs. Birdie. I hate that it always happens. Well, maybe now. Oh, there we go. You guys got me now. What's going on? Here, I'll take this down for a second. Look who I got here, Hive.
Hello.
Mrs. Birdie is going to be making an announcement, but not until we say what's up to the Hive. Hopefully, you guys can hear us all right. Yeah, you guys are good. We got it. We got it.
How's the Hive doing tonight? I love the nickname The Hive.
Do you like the name Mrs. Birdie?
It's grown on me.
What would it like if you had to have guessed, like what would your like YouTube name be?
Well, I never expected people to call you Birdie. Like I would have never guessed that that's what your YouTube name would have turned into.
You don't think so with like the Birdie Bombs?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I guess.
What would you have named my YouTube channel based on the content?
I don't know.
I don't know if I want to know, but no. What's going on? How is everybody doing? Sandra's here. Donna says, "What's up?" Gemma says, "Woo, Miss Birdie." Oh, hey, Festive. By the way, I made you a mod.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. What's going on, Rachel? Aurora, thank you so much. Dirty Birdie. Brittany says hi, beautiful Mrs. Birdie.
Hello, everyone. Oh, thank you, Rosie.
Yes. Golden Retriever is also named Birdie. My Golden Retriever husband?
More like German Shepherd. Or like a Malinois. You know how like Malinois always need a job? Otherwise they go insane? That's Birdie.
I didn't know there was so many personalities related to dogs for husbands.
Oh, for sure.
We got Phenomenon. We got Jess. Nick says thanks for letting him get all the time. I appreciate that.
It's become a part of our routine. Like I know he's streaming every night at 7, and thankfully for me, Love Island just started last week. So at 8 o'clock, I'm out of here.
Yeah, you guys told me when I said that Mrs. Birdie probably turned off the dark web videos watching Love Island now at this point. I wasn't lying.
I was not watching that video. I had it on in the background just because I like to watch the chat.
Yeah.
But I didn't want any part of that. Said a little prayer that night. I'm not going to lie.
I don't blame you. What'd you think about Ellie Benevento, the attorney?
She was awesome.
Yeah.
She was awesome. I think that she had a lot of good knowledge to share. And it's really cool to see such a legitimate guest on the show. Like just the way it's growing and the power of guests that you're having on.
Not that our current guests are not.
No, not to say that at all. I'm just saying like
a mix.
To have an actual attorney on and somebody who can give like an attorney's point of view. And she agreed with a lot of what you guys have been saying in terms of this is not right.
Yeah. Somebody told me that. Yeah. So attorney Allie Benevento was the lead attorney that represented a cheerleading company in North Carolina and other states. That there was some pretty crazy allegations, as you can imagine. This was back in 2022. I saw that on a comment on one of my TikToks I posted showing it. But yeah, her and her law firm were the people that represented the victims of that. So
yeah, she was really cool. I really enjoyed watching last night's live.
Yeah, she was great. She was great. Devil's Advocate. I love
Devil's Advocate.
Somebody in the chat said he talks on speed dial, which is it's such a good.
What does that even mean?
He just talks fast.
Oh.
You don't think he talks fast?
I didn't notice. I guess you and I talk fast, though.
He's on a different level,
yeah,
even in my opinion.
But
it's not a bad thing. He's just on a different level.
What are we on dial-up?
What's that? Yeah, you're not. I'm not on dial-up. Or did you say I'm on dial-up?
No, I said, what are you and I on dial-up?
Oh.
Sometimes I feel like my brain is dial-up. It's like the...
Yes, I agree. All right. Well, I know Mrs. Birdie also likes seeing where everybody is tuning in from.
It's my favorite part of the show.
So where do we got everybody from? Do you want to see if you can read off all of them that come in?
Okay. Do I have to do the West Virginia?
You do have to sing West Virginia. Let's see where we got.
And I agree with you, Holly. His energy is great. All right. Where's everybody from? I want to see Australia.
Which
I love
is
it.
the what?
The
Hive
Down Under.
The Hive Down
The
Under.
Hive Down Under. All right. Indiana, Ohio, Philly, South Dakota, Seattle, Ohio, South Carolina, Oklahoma, Cleveland, Tennessee, Midwest. Shout out to Midwest. Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Still in Witsec. Darn it, Chantilly. Favorite username.
Yours too?
Yes, it has become my favorite. New Mexico, Spokane, Kansas City, Ontario, Canada, Louisiana, Central, is that Minnesota?
Yep.
Okay. Canada, okay, Kansas, Deep South Alabama.
Home of the Rattlesnake Rodeo.
I would love to see what that's about. Melbourne, Australia,
We could
UK.
do our 1 year anniversary.
At the Rattlesnake Radio.
It'd be one of a kind.
Or rodeo. Pacific Northwest, Louisiana, Southeast Kentucky, Wisconsin. I could use a cheese curd right now. Utah.
All right.
Okeechobee, Florida.
Syracuse.
All right.
Southeast Wisconsin. Well, all right. Mrs. Birdie has an announcement for everybody. So you can take the chair here.
Do I get the big headphones too?
You can get the big headphones. You can.
I always joke that I kind of had a peanut head. And last time I put these on, I think I looked ridiculous.
No, you look fine. So.
No, it dwarfs my head.
So I can control the mouse for you. And then if you just want to talk.
Okay.
So
this isn't a huge announcement, but I saw. Oh,
sorry.
I saw somebody in the chat yesterday mentioned somehow getting out what the Hive Mind features were going to be before the actual stream. That way people can be aware if their content is going to be shared. So I did find a way on the Wix under Hive Mind Finds every week. I am going to, or whenever you have it ready. So whether it's the day of or, days before, I'll put the date of the stream, birdiebombshell.com. By the way, if you guys haven't checked it out, go ahead and check out birdiebombshell.com. So under Hive Mind Finds, I'm going to put the date of the stream. This is just from yesterday. We haven't been able to get ahead of any yet, but we're going to try to this week. So like if it's Thursday's stream, for example, it'll be 6/12 and it'll be the Hive Mind Finds we're going to go through in that stream. So you'll know if you were selected. If there's like a YouTube video or anything that's going to link out,
It's embedded.
It's embedded. You have to scroll down a little bit. Video
is.
below. So I'll include that. And as always, we're doing our best to get through all the Wix messages, the emails. We definitely get a lot more emails than site messages. I handle all the site messages right now, and you're kind of handling the emails as much as you can.
And the round table, if you want to say it.
In the round table. So you guys can send those there. If you want us to feature you by first name only, let us know. Otherwise, we keep it 100% anonymous because we just assume that you don't want your name shared. But that's my big announcement. And I love watching the chat. So if you guys have more recommendations for things you want on the site, keep putting those in the chat and we'll take them into consideration and think about adding them. All right, that's all I had. I haven't been on in a while, so I wanted to come and say hi to the Hive.
Ooh, great job.
Thanks.
Yeah, don't forget to take the headphones off.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go walk the dog and listen to the chat on my headphones. Or not listen to the chat, listen to the stream. All right, bye, everyone.
Bye. See you. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Nice little surprise visit from Mrs. Birdie is always nice. And she was excited to see that I made her own dedicated slide. And no, but I obviously give her a shout out a lot behind the scenes. She does a ton of work. She tries to let people know when it's her responding in the YouTube comments or to any messages. So to all of you that have interacted with her, thank you. I guess for being cool that my wife's helping me out with it, because without her, I could not possibly be doing this, running my company, working a job. And so she makes this possible, which honestly, this is the thing that I enjoy doing the most. So that's awesome. All right. So I'm going to get into a couple of things here. Who here has seen the recent court doc drops? Because I went down about an hour and a half rabbit hole listening to a bunch of different videos, putting stuff into ChatGPT, reading the documents, which they're not that long, but it's just like, what do the names of them mean? And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this case is just going to be so mind-blowing. And I think that all of that stuff, it's confirmed in my mind that it's all going in. It's all going into the trial. We're about to see some absolutely incredible stuff. Phoenix, I just saw you. Here is the link. While we're waiting for Phoenix to get up here and to dive into those court documents, quick couple announcements. So thank you to everybody who is saying that they're down to be on the first ever Hive Mind Roundtable, which is going to be the 22nd. It's Sunday, and it'll be at 7 p.m. I'm going to close off like this first one on Friday so that all next week I can get it organized. And like I said, my goal for anybody that's about to be on the Hive Mind Roundtable, I want it to be super seamless for you. You don't have to be on camera. You can be on camera, but I want it to be like, you know, as easy as like when you got to join a Zoom meeting for work. Like, I just want you to have to click the link. I'll take care of everything else. And I really just want to hear from the Hive where there's not a bunch of chaos going on. So that's why I'm going to shut it down on Friday as far as people who say that they want to be in it. So you still got a couple days. If you want to, just title it Hive Mind Roundtable or put Hive Mind Roundtable in your email somewhere with your YouTube username, because that's how I search in my inbox as far as who has signed up. So, all right, we got Phoenix backstage. Here she is. Well,
hello.
You're glitchy, Phoenix. You got to do that thing that Nash taught you.
Okay, hold on.
Okay. Oh, all right, she had to drop out. She will probably come right back. If anybody knows how to like break a curse for the audio, if you can do that remotely somehow, please do. Because clearly this stream for audio is a cluster. So anyways, I'm assuming Phoenix is going to pop back up. But yeah, anyways, that was my one announcement. I am so excited for the Hive Mind Roundtable. Honestly, I hope it becomes something that we regularly do. So I don't know if Phoenix. Oh, okay. Phoenix Talks just said she's driving home. She'll be home by 8, and then she will jump on. All right, Phoenix, will you drive safe? I will go through the Hive Mind finds. So, okay. This first one was sent to me, and it's a picture of a comment that was screenshotted off of, and now I'm forgetting this creator's name. It's like Bookin' with B. I actually was messaging her about having her on the stream, but I know she was saying that summer just started, I believe, for her kids. So it's going to be a little bit more hectic, but I think she'd be an awesome guest to have on. I watch a lot of her stuff, and she's got good takes and seems open-minded, contrarian thought process, which I know everybody in here can appreciate. But how wild is this comment? It says, I get nervous talking about this, but I checked the 2 living girls into their hotel after this happened. I have my theories based on the interaction, but not sure I should say anything. Okay.
the reason why I put this on here is twofold. One, I think we can all agree there are probably a lot of people who just say wild stuff to get a reaction out of people, or to who knows why. It's kind of a weird aspect of the internet, right? Because I don't think anybody would ever say that in person. If, let's say, she was doing a presentation on this, I don't think she would raise her hand and say that she was there if she wasn't. But it seems like on the internet, people do that crap all the time. And then it causes confusion to where it's like, you can't believe everything you read on the internet. And it's like, all right, well, so knowing that, taking it with a grain of salt, the second part of the reason why I put this on a Hive Mind Find is the hotel. I believe people have tried to FOIA the hotel and nothing has ever been released. And also, I think this is odd, but she said, I checked the 2 living girls into their hotel after this happened. I'm assuming that's the next day. But like, if it was her, like, how do we know that it wasn't after it actually happened? And they were at hotels that night. So I don't know. Or has anybody ever talked to her? Because I feel like she might have good information. Just like, what was their body language like? What were they talking about? Did they seem stressed? Were they the only people there? There just seems to be so many leads of people that should be talked to. Like, you guys have seen the hidden camera or the hidden recording of the people at Jack in the Box, where they're getting asked about the DoorDash driver and if they remember anything about that. Obviously, that one's been pertinent, but the hotel worker hasn't really seemed to be brought up that many times, which it leads me to put my tinfoil hat on, hypothetically and metaphorically, because that 4chan email, or the person that was calling me out for not knowing 4chan language, whatever, the email was kind of rude, but I really was thinking, I'm like, it shifted my mindset into a different light again, which is good. I like when that happens. I don't like being insulted, but I do like when somebody makes a point and it shifts my mindset. And they made the point that was like, do you really think that any of these leads that people have been talking about for so many years, or I guess the point they made me think that way, and it wouldn't be investigated, or the rumors of that then wouldn't have gotten out? So was it Fed posting? Was it misdirection? Was it X, Y, and Z? And I don't know. You guys know what I mean when I say, like, somebody can say something about it and it's a good thing that it just kind of jolts your brain into a different direction. But I started thinking about the 4chan stuff. Like, here I am thinking for so long, I'm like, there's got to be truth to it. But with that being said, nothing has come out of it. And with these court documents today, it does. I mean, who knows if any of those rumors are going to be those people that are potentially being investigated by the defense. But I don't know. I mean, there is something to be said about that. So, all right. And I ordered the Hive Mind Finds into this direction because I knew I was going to use it as a segue, talking about just like the shift in mindset. Now, you guys remember this photo, right? It's the HVAC company. And what was the initial perception of the HVAC people being there? It was, well, they must be looking for the weapon in the vents, right? But I think what happens is you hear the term HVAC. I don't know if you necessarily always think of like residential size vents. Maybe you think of more industrial buildings. At least that's where my brain goes when I hear HVAC. So I know obviously residential homes have a purpose for HVAC people. Yes, I'm not saying that, but in my head for like vents, I'm like, man, that would just be maybe a weird place to store it. Or I feel like, would they really need an HVAC person to go and look in the vents? Like, couldn't a detective essentially do that? I mean, what would an HVAC person be needed to search for the weapon in the vents, unless there's maybe a camera or a tool that they have? But wouldn't crime scene investigators and detectives also have the ability to search vents without needing HVAC people? And I got an email that talked about how HVAC and security systems installation is a common industry mashup. It's actually across the US, especially in small towns or regional markets like Moscow, Idaho. Multi-service contractors dominate residential tech space. These are hybrid companies that don't just do HVAC. They also install security cameras, smart thermostats, smart doorbells, keyless entry systems, alarm systems, network wiring for Ethernet, Wi-Fi, and they even do full home automation setups. Over 60% of modern HVAC businesses also offer home automation services. So the HVAC company that quote unquote searched the vents may have also been the same group that installed, maintained, or had access to any of those systems if they were in the house. So I just thought that that was a really good take, because I know that we talked about like locks being changed allegedly, and was it a keypad on the door? Also, did they have cameras in the house? And I did some research on like, there's 2 HVAC companies that were out in Moscow, but then I just started looking at HVAC companies who fall into that 60% of modern businesses in that industry that offer home automation services. And a lot of times, like, you can wire stuff, from what I gathered, not being an expert, a lot of times, like the cameras, the automation, whatever, where it would connect is close to the HVAC. Maybe it's a wireless Wi-Fi router, whatever it may be. But a lot of that stuff is all centralized, especially when homes are renoed or remodeled. They will centralize all that. So anyways, that is just a quick couple of hive mind finds. I actually really enjoyed reading that, because it got me thinking, like, that is weird. Like, who's to say that it's just to look for a knife in a vent? And then my brain also went to, like, I wonder if it's just I don't know. That's like some movie stuff from like the feds use work vans to disguise themselves and stuff like that. And Bubbly said it's also the same company that was contracted for Green's new house. Remember, they said the furnace was broken down too. Hey, Bubbly, I'm gonna just shoot from the hip here. Do you want to pop up for a couple minutes? I see in the chat a lot. I obviously see a lot of your stuff that you put out there. Do you want to? I know Phoenix is driving home right now. I can send you the link in the chat. If not, no pressure. I just figured I'd ask. Looks like the hive is rooting you on a little bit. Well, we'll see. Keep an eye out. Oh, okay. No worries. No worries at all. She is driving as well. So, okay. When it comes to this, is like I said, I usually always put like a couple of main themes on this screen that kind of help give it a, I guess, summary of what the stream is going to be about. And ultimately, it comes down to massive suppression. And I really believe that the independent team that's going to end up taking a look at this stuff, or that did take a look at this stuff, they found out something that went along with those grand jury statements. So, and then the sealing and all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on that I think pretty much what's going to end up being the biggest trial for decades to come, as far as when they finally peel back the curtains and people can see stuff. Does anybody in the chat know if something goes into a trial completely redacted or sealed, is there anything, and I'm just curious because I genuinely don't know, so I'm asking you guys, is there anything that would be shown and brought up to the jury that's maybe not super graphic or whatever, that they wouldn't live stream, or that does it stay sealed in trial where like it can be used in the jury's judgment, but it's, does anybody know how that works? I know, and Anita, I really think I would have loved the OJ Simpson trial. I probably would have started a show for that too. Okay, so Phoenix says if redacted or sealed, they can't bring up. Yeah, okay, that's what I was thinking. But I'm just saying, like, if it becomes unsealed, then everything's fair game, and judge is obviously going to be able to determine that. Okay. Uh-oh. So there seems to be a little bit of a debate going on in the hive mind about whether or not Phoenix saying that Hudson was related and Jen is saying not. How do any of us know for sure? A frat hazing death that was covered up certainly seems like a reasonable motive in, I guess, the slightest way to determine, is that possible if people could possibly go to jail, or if LE, but I don't know. But I do think that the sealed docs are going to end up being the smoking guns all on the same day, alternate suspects, mitigation witnesses, independent forensic analysis, all still totally locked down. That is big time stuff, in my opinion. Yeah. Well, at least I agree. It's definitely sus, the Hudson stuff. The Hudson stuff is definitely sus. Now, I wanted to, let me pull this up. When Mrs. Birdie came in and got onto the computer, I clicked and I accidentally closed out what I was about to show you guys next. So where did it go? Because now I'm going back through my inbox. Bear with me, Hive. No, that's not it. Shoot. Come on. Where did it go? All right. Well, anyways, side note too, as I was just scrolling through my email, kind of an exciting announcement. I'm going to be on a show as a guest that has to do with a topic on the Idaho 4, but it's actually talking about CIs and human trafficking being a big problem in today's world. And there's a human trafficking survivor that I'm going to be not interviewing, but I'm going to be a part of that same show. So that I will let you guys know when that comes out. That'll be in like 2 weeks. So anyways, all right. I apologize terribly for this. And Phoenix had a couple videos that I had pulled up that she sent me, but I'm going to wait till she gets up here for that. This sucks. Did I click out of it here too? Well, you know what I'll do? Let me see if this works. Nope. So here's it. This is here, I'll pull this up. This is not what I was about to show you guys, but this is one that came in.
Common sense says don't.
This is a video from Watts, The Obsession True Crime. I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's 2 years old. It's got under 9,000 views, but this shows Ethan, I believe, getting his head shaved in this video. Anymore. I overplayed it in high school. Anyways, okay, that's not it. See, like, full transparency too. A lot of the stuff when I'm going through the Hive Mind finds is me clicking through, trying to find like what it is about, like that. It said Sigma Chi shaving event, Ethan and Loach in video. Okay, he was in the background. Oh, thank you, Crystal. Yeah, I probably will get a freaking copyright for that. Damn. First, I exit out of it and whatever. Okay, let me focus. Let me focus up real quick. I will slow down my brain and I will find this. All right. So I found it. I found it. Now, this is a Google Doc spreadsheet that this is the second time that I've gotten sent this in the like Hive Mind Find inbox, but I think that it's a really good reference point. I thought about having Mrs. Birdie put the links up to that Undercroft and this onto the birdiebombshell.com. And on May 1st of 2022 at 11:28 a.m., 19-year-old Hudson R. Lindo, Sigma Chi member, found deceased in Paradise Creek. Now, I'm going to start from the beginning here because this shows a good timeline that are police calls / police present in the area, info from family members, press release / MPD, Facebook post, Bryan Kohberger's timeline. I think going back through this timeline as far as according to the police department is relevant with these new documents that have just come out. So on January 10th of 2015, this says the last recorded homicide in Moscow, Idaho. 29-year-old John Lee went on a shooting spree, killing his adoptive mother. Jeez. Then drove Northwest Mutual Life Insurance, where he killed his landlord, shot and wounded another person, and then killed an Arby's manager. Wow. Okay. All right. But it says on May 29th of 2018, Bryan Kohberger then graduates from Northampton Community College in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, with an associate's degree in psychology. In 2021, Bryan Kohberger works as a security guard for Pleasant Valley School District in Broadheadsville, Pennsylvania, where his mother was listed as a paraprofessional. May 1st, 2022, 19-year-old Hudson Lindau, like I was just saying, Sigma Chi member, found deceased in Paradise Creeks. 6/1, 2022, Kaylee starts her job at Extreme as an intern on the U.S. commercial team working for Jeremiah Shea as commercial sales head. 6/5, 2022, victims begin their lease at 1122 King Road. On 8/1, Bryan Kohberger moves to 1630 Northeast Valley Apartment, G201 in Pullman, Washington. Bryan Kohberger on the 21st of August gets a ticket for no seatbelt. We've watched that. Then on August 23rd, that was the first day of class for 3 courses at Washington State that Bryan Kohberger was the TA for. On September 1st, there was a noise complaint at the King Road house, but it also, I think, lists out the notes that the police report said. Dustin Blaker, Brett Payne, Jordan Welch respond to 1122 King Road for a noise complaint. Welch observed that the loud music from the home could be heard from Taylor Avenue. Bethany Funk answered the door and stated she was not a resident and would go get one. 10 minutes later, 2 unidentified males answer the front door and call Madison M. Mogan on the phone. Police speak to her and tell her to contact the people having a party in her home and tell them to turn the music down. Officers dump backpack full of White Claws before leaving the scene. We've all seen that as well. I believe so. That was just 8:34 to 9:07. So that must mean that that's closed then at that time, like the report. Then the literal next day, MPD responds to 1122 King Road for a second time for a noise complaint and deal with Xana at the door. 9/12. So September 12th, a man threatened a group of students with a knife on Paradise Path between the Student Rec Center and the university steam plant near the LLC parking lot 14. The white man appeared to be 18 to 22 years old in all black with a black baseball cap. He was last seen heading east on Paradise Path, riding a mountain bike with a blue backpack. Yeah, people are saying that it wasn't Bethany, apparently. And sorry, I'm just checking the chat right now. Yeah, somebody said, yes, please put the links up. So I will do that. And I'm sure there are some other events that people have found out. And people are saying, yeah, that wasn't Bethany. Just looked a bit like her. So, all right. Where was I? Okay. Then there was a vandal alert sent out to the U of I advising keeping doors locked and remaining inside. It certainly seems like a lot of vandal alerts get sent out at this place in general. 3 days later, man threatening students with a knife is identified and is cooperating with police. No charges have been filed. How do you get no charges filed for that? All right. 11/11/2022 in the morning, Kaylee bought her Range Rover all by herself and then left her mom's house to go show Maddie her new car and go to the sorority party, the Veterans Appreciation Dinner 2022 at the new ICCU Arena main campus. Now, can I ask you guys something that's always bothered me? Somebody in the Hive sent me a bunch of questions that have been bothering her about Kaylee being back. And that, just reading that, just sparked my attention to go back to that. And it brought up a couple of good questions. One of them was, why would Dylan have been the one to invite her back? Why would Kaylee have agreed to that? And then also, why did it look like there's probably pictures out that we've looked at, but none of them really looked like they were dressed up for the quote unquote formal. Oh, here it is. No, that's not it. whatever. We'll go back to that. Does anybody know who made this spreadsheet? Yeah, I've always wondered that, Lily. Well, I know. I'm not trying to put words in anybody's mouth, y'all. I'm just reading this statement. This is not my spreadsheet. This is what somebody in the Hive sent me. And I just thought it was interesting. The spreadsheet came from somebody in the Hive that just said, hey, this is a good resource. This is the second time that I have been sent this, so I thought I'd show it. So whatever. That's the timeline, but it is interesting to go back through and read a little bit more detail about it. I mean, this is it's a pretty very detailed and thorough timeline. Interviews, statements, the criminal charges, obviously felony, burglary, first degree murder, first degree murder, first degree murder, first degree murder. Kohberger's apartment's 11 miles. Classes that he TA'd for: intro to the admin of criminal justice, criminal procedure, criminal law. It's so well put together. Like I said, I just kind of skimmed through it. So I'm going kind of through this live myself. Neighbors, friends, acquaintances. Wow. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, here is something that's interesting. Now, again, that's why I asked kind of who wrote this or who put this together, because I noticed as kind of how they were typing, there was a little bit I could just tell there's maybe not bias, but just like, I don't think this is coming from somebody that believes everything they see on the news. I'll leave it at that. I think that they have a mindset like us. Yes, Dana, when I get through this, please, in like 10 minutes, resend this in the Hive. And Hive, help me remember that. I have a screenshot. If you sent me that, Dana, then I will I'll put it up on the screen too. But that, I did get a bunch of stuff about that with Hannah. But okay, just kind of skimming through this part here. I wonder if these are all statements from people that said the opposite of like what was said on Dateline. And it says, this guy's a WSU employee, lives in an adjacent building. He would see BK check his mail. Other than that, he's only seen BK twice. However, he saw nothing unusual. This person is a grad student and employee, direct neighbor, had not noticed anything at all over the past couple of weeks that he considered unusual, did not recognize BK's picture. This person is a father of 3 youngins, originally from Utah, lives steps away, PhD student at WSU. This person was shocked that BK was arrested. He got to know BK when he arrived at apartment complex, exchanged texts with BK, talked occasionally on the stairs near BK's second floor apartment, states BK is very talkative and friendly person. BK would talk about why people commit crime, what is the key reason behind the crime, and how people think while committing them. BK wanted to study why people commit crime and what is the role of police as guardian, or should it be seen as an enforcer. Knew BK drove White Elantra, but didn't call in because BK's personality doesn't match this incident. BK told him the first week of December that he was going to visit his home in Pennsylvania for the holidays. Quote unquote, not a hint of stress on his face or something. There is nothing suspicious after the Moscow incident that could point, okay, this could be the guy. You know what's interesting about all of the about this statement right here is that last part in like the survey that everybody lost their mind on, right? He was trying to figure out how criminals thought and how he could commit the crime, right? And then we always say, like, oh, he made every quote unquote mistake you shouldn't have. And people are like, he just made a mistake. But if he was really studying that hard, right, would he have made those mistakes like bringing his phone and just turning it off and not thinking people would know about it? But it says BK would talk about why people commit crime, what is the reason behind the crime, and how people think while committing them. BK wanted to study why people commit crime, but they leave out this part. What is the role of police as guardian, or should it be an enforcer? And I wonder why. I mean, it wasn't in the survey, right? But it is interesting. How, in your guys' opinion, does that change? Does that change how that would sound to the masses, you think? And some people are asking for what the email is to the hive mind. It's going to come up on the screen right now. And then make sure you guys go check out birdieBombshell.com. We got some merch up there. I'm thinking about adding a couple other things. I've had 3 requests to send me stuff, whether it be like, I think somebody got me a jersey and some other stuff. I do have a PO box now, so I'm not asking for anybody to send me stuff, but if it's something that you feel compelled or you want to do, I do have a PO box. So that email, reach out to me directly. We're not going to post it, but we will give it out if people ask. All right. Now, an anonymous female neighbor said BK never slept, looked too weak to kill, would go to the bathroom or vacuum at 12 to 1 a.m. She once saw someone who looked like a young female student get out of BK's white car, but they parted ways to their own apartments. BK brought a woman home once, wasn't seen, but walls are thin and they could be here talking. Another anonymous female said BK is awkward and intelligent, didn't interact with many people on campus, but not someone you would peg for violent. He was friendly to her. They'd talk for hours about his struggles with heroin and his weight, and they kept in touch after graduation. Man, reading this stuff is so interesting of just how it frames it, because we haven't ever heard the guy talk. You don't ever really hear his voice unless it's at a traffic stop. It sounds, I'm sure to a lot of people, and just even saying it out loud, it sounds weird, but I'd be so curious, like, to listen to a real conversation out in public of what did he actually interact like. Yeah, obviously this hasn't been updated since then, Chrissy, so thank you for sending me that. It was compiled and updated by someone anonymously on 4chan and posted the Idaho threads, but I'm wondering, clearly whoever was putting this together, though, got just the info. That didn't seem like a far-fetched stretch. Okay. This dude, several months ago, BK harassed women who worked there several times at Seven Sirens Brewing Company in Pennsylvania. BK usually sat alone at the bar, observing and watching. Staff noted BK makes a creepy comment after 2 or 3 beers to keep an eye on him. Would ask female staff / customers who they were at the brewery with where they lived, and they would get upset with them. In one instance, BK called a female employee a bitch when she declined to answer his questions. When confronted about his behavior, BK was shocked and said he had no idea what the owner was talking about and suggested that he has him confused with someone else. BK had 1 beer and left, never returned. Man. All right, let's go through this tab. Additional info. That's kind of interesting. Kaylee was a web sleuth. That was known obviously right away, but it's interesting that it made the spreadsheet. It's so weird to read this stuff back through. Oh, it's got the links to their obituaries. Oh, this is interesting. Angela, this is a great question. So let's just run through this quick. Oh, it's kind of interesting. They have who the cops claim is not involved. Like, have they publicly said that? Okay, so Jack Decor, they've said he's not involved. That was obviously Kaylee's ex-boyfriend. Jack Schrager, Maddie's current boyfriend, they have not talked about him not being involved. Bethany and Dylan, we know that they've said they're not. Dakota Sparks is the direct neighbor who interviewed, went to sleep 2 a.m., left for work 11:45, never saw or heard anything or anyone. They haven't said anything about them. Jack Showalter was the hoodie guy. They said he's not involved. Adam, the one that was heard in that CCTV footage where they were all walking and the white truck passes, he's not been cleared. Joe Vito has not been cleared. None of the family members have technically been cleared, which is kind of interesting. I think this is probably just like a main character, quote unquote, type of list. Yeah, no kidding, right, Nick? Murphy is a huge player now. And is Murphy on this list? Oh, shit. It is. Wait. Did they didn't make an actual statement, did they? That the dog is not involved? No kidding. It wouldn't be involved in the unalivings, but that's wild. I mean, having their family members on there and having the cops come out and say that they're not involved, that's not. Yeah, this obviously hasn't been updated in a while. It's got how many police were on staff. So, reports of deceased animals being left on residents' properties due to wildlife activities, not the murders. Reports of a skinned dog are unrelated to this crime. The media reports of a red Mustang on South Deacon Street being processed as part of the murder investigation are inaccurate, and the vehicle is not connected to this incident. And again, that's where I go to that 4chan post. They referenced Deacon and where they all switched cars. The Hyundai Elantra, located in Eugene, is registered out of Colorado, and the female owner is not believed to have any relation to any property in Moscow or the ongoing investigations. Oh, that was debunked, huh? Questions? Oh, this is what I referenced this the other night, the first time that somebody sent this to me, because this was the tab that I clicked on. So, all right, let's if you guys are caught up, I just want to see how many people are caught up live right now. Type of 1. I just want to make sure if people are if it's we got enough people that could answer these in real time, and we'll get the kind of live answers to these questions, and I'll put some up on the screen as to what people think. I think that'd be interesting to do. Okay, nice. Yeah, we got a lot. Sweet. Exactly, Karen. However, her boss in Colorado owns the home that they were killed in. Yes. All right. Hell yeah. Somebody typed it too. That's funny. All right. This first question is a very good question. I don't think we know the answer to it. And you guys can answer with whatever, yes, no, a short sentence, and I'll put a couple up on the screen, and it'll be more interactive that way. And in the replays, I really like to, on YouTube, if you go and watch the live streams and you go to the comments tab, you can, at the top, you can scroll to the right when you have the comments tab. Just scroll to the right. As you watch the replay, you will see the chat as it's happening at that moment in the live. So I don't know how many people knew that, but I know that I put them up on screen, but sometimes, it's obviously that's as big as I can make it, but you guys can also go and swipe over and see the live stream chat. So anyways, all right, let's get into these questions. Did Jack D try to call Kaylee or Maddie back when he woke up to see 10 missed calls from them? Yes or no? Okay. Yep, everyone's saying no. Now, we don't know for sure, but ask yourself that. If you woke up and your ex-girlfriend and her best friend had called you 10 times, I think you'd probably call them back versus just text them. Maybe. I don't know. That's kind of iffy. It kind of depends on someone's personality. But I'm saying if you put yourself in that position, like, I feel like whether or not, if I knew my wife was hammered and out with her best friend and I woke up to 10 missed calls, I'd call back. I think I would have done that even when we were just dating. Yeah. That's a great point too, Veronica. I think a lot of people forget that right away he didn't. Okay. The second question, I don't know how we could all answer that, but I do think it's an important question. Obviously, we're not going to know this, but is the perpetrator right-handed or left-handed based off of the medical examiner's findings? Why do we not have Xana and Ethan's movements from 9 p.m. to 12 p.m.? I did think that was very weird how in the beginning everybody was asking for tips about where they were, and then it just kind of was like, oh, they established the timeline. Does anybody know how they were able to come to the conclusion that they got home at 1:45? Did somebody in the frat go on record and say that? Was it kind of like, oh, I didn't see them after this time at the party, or oh, I think they left at that point? Okay. From Bethany. Oh, Bethany did not release Bethany, I thought. Yeah, that's what I heard, D Smalls, was that people said they saw them there until about 2. Or, yeah, was it potentially just... But I feel like even before that, it was because they heard Linda Lane at 156. Xana's dad, that is not in the court document, so still undetermined. Then Olivia changed it to 156. Chrissy, you're on fire tonight. Chrissy is the reason why we are looking at this document right now. Top dog for Chrissy. I haven't given one of these out to a while. It says top dog on the bottom, but it broke. So thank you, Chrissy, for that. And yeah, now that you brought up Olivia, you are totally right. That's hilarious. Are you guys okay? So, was anyone contracted with the property management company working in the house to get rooms or the entire house ready for new renters since it was posted for rent a week before the murders? So that's asking, was there a rental company that somebody had over to the house as they were getting ready for it to be emptied? I wonder if it was Alpha from our TikTok chat that one time. All right. Amanda said it was Bethany. She just read the affidavit. The Hive rocks. Like, yeah, I still just can't believe that happened over on TikTok. Okay. Were the cell phones, all right, okay. Were the cell phones of all four victims present in the home and collected for evidence? Not going to know that. We obviously know their phone activity is brought up. This question, what do you guys think? Were the victims in pajamas consistent with sleeping, or like some kind of attire that they would have been consistent in sleeping? Does anybody think that is how they were found? Or if you had to guess, I know it's morbid, do you think they were found in their clothes they wore out after getting home from the grub truck? No idea. Obviously, no. Still in their clothes. Don't know. Probably lounge clothes. Don't think they were asleep. It's a great question. Honestly, all of these have been really good, thought-provoking questions thus far. All right, number 7. Xana's dad reported that he last heard from her at midnight on November 13th, so obviously late at night on the 12th. And she was hanging out at home with her boyfriend, yet police say her and Ethan arrived home at 1:45. How did police confirm their arrival time at home? We just found out because Amanda went and looked it up. It was in the PCA from Bethany. That is almost a 2-hour difference and also places Xana and Ethan home before police place the surviving roommates at home. There was also the empty pizza box, the Venmo for Domino's. Did the surviving roommates see any of the victims at all that evening when the 4 returned home? What does that mean? Did the surviving roommates see any of... Oh, meaning did they see them when they got home? I misread that in my mind. I thought it was trying to say, did they see them out that night? Was anyone else in the house? Did the surviving roommates have company? What night was the formal that Ethan attended with his siblings? What time did it start and end? What time did the surviving roommates leave the house? See, okay, I've wondered this too. The timeline around Dylan and Bethany also is kind of just, I don't know. It's just so interesting how really the only two people that they have a dialed in timeline on are Kaylee and Maddie. This really sounds like two separate timelines again. So I'm going to pause with these questions. Let's answer Amanda's question. Type a 1 if you agree. They say, in my opinion, BF and DM are full of shit emoji, and they were either involved or know exactly what happened. Type a 1 if you think, type a 1 if you agree with that. Type a 2 if you disagree. Yeah, look at that chat. Yeah, and Sherry, that video you talked about, Phoenix sent me that. So whenever Phoenix gets home, she's going to pop up. Yeah, look at that. If we're thinking it, how is the judge not? Doesn't seem to be. What time did friends arrive the morning of November 13th? What time were friends called to come over the morning of the 13th when a second floor victim was believed to be unconscious? If there's video footage of the white Elantra, why hasn't a photo of the actual vehicle itself being released to the public? And in one word, summed up, beautiful lie. I could not agree more. I will show Phoenix's video, but I kind of, oh, she needs a link, please. All right. Sweet. I kind of like these more interactive chats every now and again like this. I know that that's something that I've said that I'm going to try to focus on more is reading the chat. So thank you guys for interacting, for everybody that is interacting that's currently caught up. And I appreciate that. And then obviously if a handful of minutes later, you see some people that are catching up and they're interacting as well. Like I've always said, the Hive is the best. I always like whenever I see a comment that's like, just subscribed, like so excited, so glad I found my people. I always like saying like, welcome to the Hive. I think it's such a cool thing. And I just wanted to, let you guys know that that is not just because of me, it's because of you all as well. I agree, April. Phoenix, I sent it in the chat, by the way. King Purdy. Love it. Love it. Phoenix, no rush. I'll put it back in the chat again. I know it's moving quick. A no judgment hive mind would be great. I feel like we don't really have too much judgment. Obviously, we're not perfect, but I think it's weird if you do judge somebody for just having a different thought than you. My personal opinion. I'm not saying that you agree with them, but I'm not here to lecture anybody on that either. Okay. Well, we will wait for Phoenix. Let's see what video links I got. I'm going to keep the volume down so I don't get a copyright thing while there's music. I'm sorry, chat. I don't know what happens on YouTube for the copyright. I know afterwards you get a exclamation point and you can only get so many for copyright infringements. So now I get sketched about every time there's music in the background. And I already know that I'm going to get one from that damn Lil Wayne song. Let's go back here and click around a little bit more. Yes. I'll show that actually. I'll show that right now. Let me go pull that up. So Veronica had said, because that's an interesting one. We'll do a little bit of a delayed hive mind dig here. Let me just pull it up. Here we go. Now you guys tell me, does that look like Kopaka right there? Slightly. Let me.
Hello there. How you doing? Trooper Wolf for the state police. Reason I'm here because there's speed.
Didn't do it.
The reason we're going so fast?
A reason?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got like an 8-hour drive and we're in the middle of nowhere and I just wasn't paying attention.
Okay, do you happen to see how fast you're going?
About 90?
Yeah, I saw it at 95 miles per hour. So, you know what the posted speed limit through here is?
I saw you about the same time, that's why I slowed down. So.
Yeah, sounds about right. So, do you know what the posted speed limit is?
It's, I don't know, 60, 65?
65 miles per hour. So, you have a driver's license?
I do.
What about our registration proof insurance? Get in there.
Yeah, it does. It does look, you know, it's obviously a burly guy with a beard. I watched it. There's another video as well. I got pulled over twice again in 5 minutes.
Is it the same guy?
I don't think so. No, it's not the same. This side. It's off.
What up, Phoenix?
Testing.
Loud and clear.
Awesome. Hey, Hive Mind.
How cool is that? How cool is that Google Doc?
Holy moly. Who had time to do that?
I could not have done that. I couldn't have. I mean, that's like I can't do spreadsheets. Like I like doing stuff like this and I like doing like notes, but I have to do it my own way. I'm not good at Excel or like the Google spreadsheet stuff.
That's
With
a
all,
lot
like,
of
the cells.
focus
Yeah.
and time.
All right, Phoenix. So I was waiting to show your video. I didn't know. I know you sent me in an email. I didn't know if you wanted me to just talk about it.
Whatever you want.
Well, why don't you, as I'm looking for it in the inbox again, why don't you give a little bit of a background on how I guess you figured that out.
One of those things that bothered me is I love animals. Where was Murphy that night? And I think I've said it a couple of times on the live streams that either Birdie wasn't there. I'm Birdie. Either Murphy wasn't there or he was locked in the room. And everybody kept saying he was locked outside. Well, I don't think anybody would stick a dog outside. It was cold, but I don't think anyone would be that cruel to the dog. I mean, come on, chat. Would you stick a dog outside in cold weather?
Hell
I
no.
wouldn't.
No.
No.
I mean, there are times where like our dog obviously likes being outside. It's like a border collie golden remix, or not remix, mix. But I know, like, have you ever seen those videos of like the huskies or like the dogs that are meant to be in the snow, and it's like, hey, you got to come inside. Somebody on the internet says you're going to get cold, but it's like they were bred to be out in the snow. Like those are always funny. Where like they nap. Have you seen those?
Yeah, they love the outdoors. But you know, to me, Murphy looks like a dog that was pampered and very loved, and I just don't see how anybody could put Murphy outside. Murphy was like the glue, right? Peanut butter and jelly. So I kind of always wondered where was Murphy, and then when, you know, obviously a crime scene such as this, it never made sense to me. And so yesterday night, someone tagged me in a video, and it looked like, shout out to Linda Lane Archives on YT. They have all the archives of Linda Lane. And someone had said it looked like somebody was carrying a dog that pulled up. And I saw a video and it looked like somebody carrying a dog. So I went and I scoured the entire video to find what kind of car they pulled up in, because nobody was showing the pull up video. So I went and scoured the internet to find out, and Chat GPT to find out what kind of car pulled up, who could possibly have pulled up and had the dog in the car and dropped the dog off at 6:36 in the morning. And I found some other interesting footage that I'm going to share later on. But it kind of solidified what I was thinking, that maybe Murphy was not present.
Well, I have the video pulled up here.
This person to judge somebody by their.
That wasn't it. Here
Phoenix
it is.
here. Grab a seat, sit down, let's chat. Has the question of where was Murphy that night been answered? Well, I'm about to show you a video and we'll watch it together and you can tell me what you think. Because I've always said either Murphy was locked in a room or Murphy was not there. And I'm going to show you a video of someone who pulls up in a car and gets out of the vehicle and looks like they're holding a dog. Shout out to Linda Lane Archives on the YT. Thank you so much for this footage. I had no idea it was there for over 10 months. But as you look at the video, I'm going to show you someone drives up, gets out of the vehicle, looks like they're holding a dog, and walks towards the 1122 King Road. Take a look for yourself.
Oh, hang on. Let me turn off the captions.
Okay.
Did that make it? You know what?
I don't know if you can on this one.
Yeah, but let me just try this, Phoenix.
And you can go to that Linda Lane footage and show the actual video if you want.
Yeah, I was gonna try to do it where if I can play it here.
Because it's really hard to see.
Yeah,
on this.
Zoom it.
Yeah. And shout out to Yolanda. She says, I have a doodle and they have hair. It's not fur. They don't have an undercoat and get really cold easily. Absolutely.
Right. That should be better, chat.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yep.
Now this car drives up and you can actually see the person get out and perhaps carry a dog and walk towards the 1122 King Road.
Now you can see right there.
That
the
totally
two paws. Yeah, and I think he whimpers, but you can see their arm and the two paws over their arm, and he looks around. It's a dog.
Yeah.
To King Road.
And just look, it kind of looks like they're being held like this.
Yeah. see how the front of his face is facing the camera and the legs are draped over the person's arms?
Yeah.
At first I thought, well, maybe this woman got home at 6:30 in the morning and she worked all night. Maybe she was a nurse. And of course, then it played in my head, maybe this was a baby in a snowsuit. And the minute I heard the dog whimper, I was like, that's a dog.
Yeah, it does look like a RAV4 too.
And this just didn't make sense to me. If DM, everybody's saying it's DM, allegedly. If it's DM, she did not like Murphy, from what I understand. So why would she even carry Murphy? That boggles my mind.
The 1122.
And then they walk towards,
So
obviously, the house.
let me just do this on the screen here quick.
Okay, so Bethany has a RAV4. I was under the impression that DM did not have a car there.
So this is like a tree or something blocking it, but here's the end of this car.
Correct. And that's the fence blocking.
Yep, this is like a tree,
Mhm.
but it looks like the door handle goes here.
Correct.
Okay, so this is the door. Here's the mirror.
And the white is the dog.
And then, yeah, hang on. So let's just. Oh, shoot.
To King Road.
So that door shut. Did you guys see that? Like,
yeah,
the door shut right there. Boom. And now where the door was, this is still that same tree.
correct.
This is the dog.
Correct.
What are I'm going to take a shot in the dark here. Let's go to good old chat GPT. If this thing says, all right, I need you to make your best. These are my favorite kind of lives. I don't know about you guys. Like, don't get me wrong. I like having, the guests on. Obviously, those are fun. I like when it's very like just fluent like this, where we're like, let's do a hive dig. I need you to make your best educated guess and give yourself whatever prompt you need to.
Someone says, and why did they not park at the 1122? I can only guess. I'll give you a guesstimate. I believe they didn't want the car parked in front because they would rope it all off and they wouldn't have access to a vehicle.
All right.
And at this time, there's no texting going on. There's no messages, no calls.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to do something I've never done, Phoenix. I'm going to give our favorite troll, Viviana Marie, an early clown horn. Because she apparently thinks she's smarter than AI and that we're just doing this because AI clearly hasn't been able to help anybody do anything ever in life.
Is she in the house?
I don't know. Plot twist, Viviana. We all love you. So
maybe she'll be ready to come join the forces.
that'd be fun. Maybe we have her on the round table.
I'm open.
Yeah.
All perspectives are welcome.
And I will debut the Shake Your Tail Feather birdie character twerking. So stay tuned for that. We can have a cartoon bird.
Festive
off.
Birdman.
Yeah.
I'm going to email you about those trolls.
Okay. And it's kind of nice that I'm not stressing about this being like a gun right now and the TikTok getting shut down.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I asked ChatGPT what kind of make and model the car was, and they told me it could be either a Subaru Outback or a RAV4. And I made a video after this video to show you what color the car is when the camera turns to daylight hours and it becomes color.
Well, so far, it's showing us a house. So that's not accurate.
That looks like a villa in Italy.
Yeah. But what if there's an Italian lady walking a dog at the bottom here that we don't see yet, Phoenix?
Mine actually showed me a woman walking a dog and it had the fence on there.
No kidding. Maybe I got to zoom out more.
You may need to put in another parameter.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Let's get this off the screen here. Wonder if there's anything we can do visually here. Okay, hang on. Wait, what was that?
King Road.
Now, what are your thoughts about this
Sorry,
case?
Phoenix, for the close up, 500% zoom. I feel like, what if we, what was the archived on that? It was
the Linda Lane archives,
I'm so curious because that's,
and it's at the 4 I want to say 6 to 7 a.m. hour.
this one's in color.
That's when it shifts from 7 a.m. on.
So this is, so it's a 5 a.m.
6 to 7.
This one?
It should say, yeah, because it starts and it's dark, so it's 6:36. You see the car pulling on the left. And if that is DM, of course she's wearing the cream-colored sweatsuit.
Okay. That car. That was like a Jeep Cherokee.
It does, but look at the side of it. I had to do as many screenshots as I could to keep asking ChatGPT to give me a make and model. Now, someone else said they found the car outside the house later on, or another footage.
They said what, Phoenix? What outside the house?
There's a RAV4 parked outside the house that it could possibly be it. But when the sun comes up, that color of that car is a different color. So I don't know.
Oh, please. It's not an Elantra. What the hell? Dude, I need
No,
to
that's
clear
what it told me at first. You have to do a different side view.
But that doesn't look anything like a Hyundai Elantra.
Apparently, everything's a Hyundai Elantra.
Yeah, and I clear my history a lot. Does anybody know how I can zoom in on this screen right here? I see people do it all the time, where it's like a magnifying glass. I only know how to do it in the settings. No, that's not true. I don't know how to
Maybe
do it.
take it to Canva.
Oh, I could do that. I'm still waiting on that sponsorship, Canva.
Hey, I asked them.
Yeah, that was awesome of you. Thank you. It's kind of eerie that they're jamming music. Isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hear it?
They're
What song is that?
I don't know.
Oh, that'd be weird if we could pick it up what song it is.
Mm-hmm.
Calling Outcast 420.
Wait, did we miss the car pulling in? Oh, don't look at that. That's a surprise. Why is it not doing it? I need to get. How do I move this thing?
Winger says it's Dylan.
I think it's because this thing is too big at the top. There we go. And I'll just zoom in. So this is 6:35. I just want to hear.
Yeah, it's coming right up now. But you know what's odd? I went to the 1320 Linda Lane, and you never see that car cross on Taylor and Linda Lane.
That is odd.
Someone's tampered with this video. Here it comes.
Looks like you can see the tail down here even. That looks like a bread basket carry.
Does it?
I thought it does when they walked over there. Man, I'm just trying to do this quick so I don't go all the way back. Why is it doing that? Dude, F this. I'm going back to YouTube.
You can see the outline of the dog when they carry it to walk towards.
Yeah.
Now, remember, Murphy, if you go to Kaylee's page, she had just posted a little TikTok with Murphy. And Murphy is not that big as y'all think.
I'm gonna get this screenshot, Phoenix.
And Phenomenon could be correct. Maybe they gave Murphy some Benadryl or something to calm him. I was thinking they had the music up loud in case he barked or whimpered. When I first saw this, I thought it was a guy. Oh, yeah, if they didn't have a leash, they'd carried him. Good point. Who said that? Misinformation. That's good.
Get this damn video off.
Yeah, I think he was a mini doodle because he was kind of smaller.
I learned a new trick on Canva.
What'd you learn?
I learned how to invert colors.
Oh, dude, I have to tell you something. I looked at the nutritional information on these nerds. I'm only allowed to eat 5.
Yeah, that's why I just don't look at it. It's not good. It's pretty remarkable. Yeah, I figured out how to do all this stuff. I didn't know that this was even a thing. So,
oh, cool.
Invert the colors.
I don't think it's Emma Bailey because her hair is dark. This person's hair looks lighter than Dylan's, in my humble opinion.
Hey, if we have any,
like
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Bottle blonde.
If we have any gurus with basic settings that know it kind of like on the iPhone, that's kind of what this is. Phoenix, while I'm messing around, can you keep your eyes on the hive? And
yeah, well, they're just saying that they hear a small bark. I heard a little whimper. Don't look at the label. I know, girls. I know. Is it Bethany Emily ? Well, her hair is much darker. DM white sweater, same as photo. Possibly it looks like a cream color. Zoom in on YT is press Control ++ zoom and then negative to zoom out.
Control
++, I believe. Hold on, I gotta go back and scroll and look.
Well, it's zooming, but not on. It's zooming on my screen.
Control ++ to zoom in, Control +- to zoom out, and Control +0 to reset. Thank you, 1111. And I love your name. I was married at 1111. Thank you.
What? There we go.
Where would Murphy be kept? I don't know where he was. Somebody drove up with him, so I don't know if he was off somewhere else.
Let me just look this up quick. How do I zoom in on the screen on YouTube with the magnifying glass? Because I've seen people do it.
They think it's braids. Click inside the slide, Nash Graphics.
Windows key plus.
Murphy was found locked in the laundry room. I don't remember that rumor. Let me go back to the spreadsheet. Did it say anything more about Murphy? Yeah, I saw the white sweater, kind of cream colored in the AM with braids when she was walking with the police. Didn't Bubbly do a video about EB that night where she had blonde hair? No, I don't remember that. I'll have to go back and look. So are you
Is
guys
it
saying that
zoomed
she
on for you
dyed her
guys?
hair?
No, it's not. I have it really zoomed right here.
Looks like a guy with a backhead baseball cap. Yeah, I thought it was a guy too, but not. Bertie, I emailed you a zoomed in version from my phone. Person with braids, 100%. Hey, Nash, welcome.
What up,
Control
Nash?
C. Control plus.
I've tried it all. I am incapable.
You are not. Just don't crash out on us.
It's been a couple days, Phoenix.
You done really well tonight.
I know.
The hive has been on fire.
Yes, they have. You emailed me, Phoenix?
Tails. Somebody said they emailed you a zoomed in picture. Looks a little like Jack. That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure. Somebody who possibly, if that's Murphy in their hands, brought Murphy back in the early morning. And then probably put him in the other room.
I'm going to do this real quick. I'm going to copy this, see if... Let's see, because I got a good photo here. And I haven't updated the screen, so I'm sorry, chat. Here we go.
Bertie, scroll on your mouse instead of a plus. So control plus scroll to zoom.
Okay. Recreate the image you see in this screenshot the best you can.
Layla, you've got some pretty, or Lisa, you've got some pretty good eyes. She said she can see the dog's tail wagging.
Let's see what this shows.
Maybe Murphy went to Jack's and Jack had him. I don't know. That's a big mystery.
You know what is also kind of interesting while we're waiting for this to load, Phoenix, to talk about the documents that dropped. It is kind of weird. Like if you're awake to kind of everything that's going on right in your face, it's really pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
What's happening? Like there, I thought maybe there'd be more speculation, but it's very straightforward.
We're going to keep everything as tight-lipped and secret as we can now. And I don't know if you saw yesterday, I did a video that they had a order to seal an order that was just made on the 5th on the night. And I thought, well, that was odd. When did they even meet? Did they have a stipulation order, or was it just a, what the heck? It's a dog. Good job, Bertie. It's a dog. So it's funny, Nash, we haven't talked about the burglary charge because if you remember Judge Hippler saying in court, are there two dogs?
Yeah, but I wonder if it's just picking up. I mean, it's picked up on the fence. I never said dog in any of this.
Yeah, I know. That's wild. It's a dog, a white dog. Look at their white dogs. Dog and a dog.
Mother.
The dog eat dog world.
Jeez, hang on. That's the photo that I put in there. I never said anything
about a dog.
About a dog. I'll zoom in on it.
crazy.
I'm gonna zoom in on it and say
It's not just a dog. Well, it could be two dogs.
oh, come on.
I'll refrain from making any mean comments. I'm just feeling a little spicy after.
Hey,
seeing
Phoenix.
that.
Somebody brought up too that Phoenix is a bird as well.
Yes, it is a bird. That's why I say birds of a feather flock together.
I love it. I actually knew that. I just thought it was interesting.
Mhm.
It's like, have you ever seen the movie Step Brothers?
No,
What?
no.
Oh my
If I've
god!
seen it, I don't remember. Now, mind you, I spent 5, almost 6 years overseas. I didn't get regular TV. We didn't get regular movies, nothing. We got AFRTS, whatever they wanted to show us.
Chat, you can tell me no. I'm serious. Type of 1 if you think I should show Phoenix the scene in Step Brothers where they're walking up to each other when they just meet each other, and it's like, you can call me. Or no, is that where they say El Diablo? Never mind. I'm not going to show it. Phoenix,
It's like they knew each other forever, right?
no, it's not. It's actually the
Oh,
opposite. They
okay.
like hate each other. He's like,
Oh no.
he's like yelling. He's like, I would never save you, not even if there's a fire. Well, people are telling me to do it anyway, so all right, I will. It's so funny. Not that that's like our relationship that we've had, but I think he's like, you can call me Nighthawk or something. It's so stupid, but it's like, you'll love it. Like it's John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell.
Yeah, my husband asks me all the time, "You've never seen this movie?" I'm like, "No, I lost like 6 years of my life overseas. Come on. I missed out on everything."
Yeah. Well, you could watch it tonight.
Yeah, I'd have to stream it.
It showed us the same thing, and it's a different
does.
picture. It's a different angle.
Dragon and Nighthawk.
Yep.
That's what Taylor said.
Well, all right.
Well, they got the dog, the white dog or a cream colored dog, right?
Yeah.
Murphy's in the car while they finish cleaning. Well, that's a great thought, but the car drives up, so Murphy had to have been somewhere else. And that would fit the narrative of whoever shared allegedly that Murphy was lost and they got her home.
Yes. It would. All right, I found it. I'm going to share it here. So this is
Okay.
good times. Good times.
I'll have to watch it. My husband will probably know what you're talking about, but
Yeah, he probably will. Okay, well, I feel like we've gone deep on that, potentially at least having some plausible resemblance to a dog.
and I think you were right. Massive suppression. Everything is sealed. Now that we know more, we're not going to see more until the trial, if there's a trial.
Yeah, and like
We made a big oops and it'll just go away. I think there's going to be a harsh remedy.
yes. Oh man, now David just saying that comment is making me want to watch that movie again tonight. And the boats and hose thing. Oh man. Okay. All right. Focus. Kyle, Bert. I almost just saw my first name. That's funny. Focus.
You got this.
Phoenix. Now, do you believe that so what do they call it? A parte where the
Ex parte.
prosecution wasn't there? Now, see, I've always said this, like the terminology in the court docs is what takes me forever to look up first prior to being able to understand what it is I'm even looking at.
Well, I think an ex parte is unfair, period.
So you disagree with that?
An ex parte order means that the judge will give one party an order without having the other party present. That they could hear something and not other side not be present. And the judge can make a decision without any input. I can understand where an ex parte would be very important, like in a DV case, or maybe a protection order.
Wasn't it kind of?
Yes and no. Both sides, they should have had a say in it.
Well, let me ask you this. This is obviously just going to be your opinion, but is there ever a time, like I know you just said DV, but it sounds like even then you feel like it should never be a thing?
I feel, in my humble opinion, it shouldn't be a thing unless there is something seriously that the other side can't be there to negotiate. That's my humble opinion. Because when you ask the judge to make a decision without the other party being there and it's like given on one side, it doesn't look that great for the record.
Yeah. I'm wondering if there is some, because like, didn't they kind of reference the protection order? Like, or so like if they do that, whenever it could be a protection order, what in this situation could it be? Could it be that the independent investigator found something that would put
yeah.
somebody in danger?
Maybe.
Like a
Maybe because of the fact it could be a material witness, right? A material witness is ordered to be there or else. You can't just not show up as a material witness. You have to show up. It's by under order of law. Very risky if you don't show up, because then you can be facing criminal charges. This is a criminal case. It's not civil. A civil is a different story, right? It's between two parties. This is between the state, a criminal charge, and an individual or parties of whoever they charge. But I think in this case, it has to be something to protect someone from harm. But remember, there are no contact orders in place. And I kind of thought about this last night after looking at these orders in the way that they flowed. And I kept saying, were those protection orders to protect these individual family members, or was the order to protect Bryan Kohberger from the families not contacting him? But I think in this case, it goes both ways.
I think it's what Susan just said.
What'd she say?
It says maybe it's a witness to say who the alternate suspect is. So like, that's where when I said that I was watching a bunch of stuff today, I don't remember who said it. So, but it made sense. I'm trying to remember, because I watched like three other people put their takes in on it. And it was saying that if it's the state's witness, that would technically be corroborated, or like the state would train them up, like get them trained up to say what they want, right? So if it's that, wouldn't that matter if it's their witness? Or like someone was talking about, like, is it the person from like the grand jury transcripts?
It could possibly be, right? Because we've seen some backlash and some, I'm not going there to testify, I don't want to even be there video. They're putting these people under penalty of perjury. Somebody has to break. Somebody has to tell the truth in this case. There's no more cover-up time. They bought enough time for the last 2.5 years, and everyone's slowly starting to realize there's no possible way one person could do this. With everything else that we've seen and all the leaks and the dateline and all the things that you see up to date with this emergency, I think it's to protect the individuals, like I said a couple of days ago, either those people who are being summoned and subpoenaed to come to court and testify, either they are getting them there as material witnesses or alternative perpetrators. They want them to appear in court. Because you know what? Once you get to court, and if they suspect or have any clear evidence, any DNA evidence, or Ann Taylor has put together a solid, watertight proof type of alternative perpetrators evidence with proof that the state has already said as of yesterday, we object to this. We totally object. And now everything's sealed and there's emergencies and all this other stuff going on behind the scenes. That basically means that if they have summoned someone to come to court, they have no choice to be there. They might be walking into a minefield to be even charged or arrested.
Yeah, that makes sense. Phoenix, let's do an exercise here. Okay. What is something that we have not thought about as far as a connection to this case, where if somebody were to say like, no, I think it means this, and let's say that it's not a frat thing, it's not a surviving roommate thing, it's not related to the grand jury thing. I know that that's a stretch because it's most likely almost 100% not how the legal system would work. But what would it be, do you think? And if anybody in the chat has an idea, like what is something that's so out of the box that we haven't talked about that maybe somebody's thought of or they've said, and now this coming out might give more way to that theory?
The only thing I can think of is a Perry Mason moment, right? That
What
all
is
this
that?
points to somebody that we least expected, right?
Right. Yep.
But that's not how this works because they've subpoenaed certain people. I could have made a video and put the guy on blast, but I didn't.
What?
He's a veteran. He's in North Carolina. One of the witnesses that is coming, obviously, was in the 82nd Battalion. And, you know, I just didn't feel right to do that because he's been called as a material witness for we don't know what. We don't know if he knows Payne, if he knew his Payne's brother, or if he knew Kopaka. We don't know. We're still out on the jury to see if Kopaka fits in here at all, right? So when you think about something like this, it would have to be something so out of the blue that maybe it was the neighbor. Maybe it was someone who hasn't been named yet. Because I think someone did say it in the chat, and I was thinking about this earlier today, is that they do have additional blood samples, DNA, and they do have a glove that was found, and they do have other evidence. Now, Bertie, I don't know if you've heard this, but I looked at the original police report, not police report, but what the police had reported through social media, that they collected 113 samples of evidence. Now, that 113 samples had to be turned over to Anne, to the defense. And I think what we've been seeing go back and forth about Exhibit B and Exhibit this and Exhibit this, I think she's breaking it down a little bit more to find out who exactly these people are. Now, on the Banfield video, those 3 individuals were with a different frat. They were not with Sigma Chi. I don't know if you know that or not.
I do know that, or I feel like you briefly brought that up, or maybe we've questioned what frat are they in. I hate to say this, Phoenix, that dude's email really shook me to my core about thinking, do you really think it'd just be frat kids in on it? Maybe they had their own shit going on and they were into the drugs and they were into the fight club and they were into all that shit. But do you really think that they did the murders? And it's really because we were going deep on that. And it does seem to have some teeth to what he's saying of, well, why haven't there been massive investigations going on in there? They were leaking everything else about the case in the beginning anonymously. If they were being investigated, don't you think more people would still be leaking stuff? I don't know. I don't wonder.
Know either. Something crossed my mind last night. Remember the email that you read about the hitchhiker that went all the way to where?
Yes.
What state did they go to?
North Carolina, right? Or no?
They went, yes.
Yeah.
You said North Carolina. And they were in the 82nd Battalion. They might know Payne. Was that your hitchhiker that they just subpoenaed to come and be a material witness?
I mean, that's why I was asking that question of like, what could be? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I put that together when I started thinking about that email that you shared, or that 4chan about the hiker, and he turned himself in and he went and told them that they're going to blame me. And
no, that was a sheriff report. That wasn't even on 4chan.
Oh, a sheriff's report. Okay.
Yeah.
So when I started thinking about that, well, who in the hell would travel from Washington all the way to North Carolina, and they hitchhike because they probably didn't have any money or a way home? And how could they be a material witness? Now, I'm not saying that this is the guy, but it seems to be more plausible. And look at that email again, or that report. And could this be the material witness they subpoenaed that has to come from North Carolina?
You know what, Phoenix, I'm going to try something here.
And let me ask you a question, Bertie.
Yep.
What are the top 3 reasons people commit murder?
Well, like statistically, I don't know. I can give you what I think.
Sure.
I would say one of them being like gang involvement, like
Yep. Crime,
combine that with drugs,
drugs.
stuff like that. Jealous significant other or terrible failing marriage or some sort of drama in a
Emotional love, jealousy.
Yeah. And then
The last one.
Let me think.
Don't look at the chat. I'm watching you.
I don't know. What
Your chat's so smart. Money, greed, power.
Yeah. I guess I was kind of including that with like gangs, like saying like drugs, money, turf.
But isn't that odd that we have all of this in this case? All 3, like I said, a perfect storm.
Yes. I'm gonna try something here, chat. I'm gonna go back.
I'm just gonna ask you one last question because I gotta know. And I'll ask the hive mind too. If you gotta get out of town real quick and you don't want to be have any trace of you anywhere, how do you get out of town real quick?
Without a trace, you're getting a ride from somebody else.
That's what I thought about that.
Yeah.
Sheriff's report.
And that's what he said. So I found that sheriff report. I'm going to go back to the chat bot that I used that did the ARG and the narrative simulation. And I'm going to say, give yourself a prompt that allows you to use predictive tactics based on patterns in speech and patterns that sheriff / law enforcement would use while taking a report, and fill in what you think is redacted in this report and generate it for me. Goes deep down the rabbit hole of using predictive speech patterns that you need to in order to complete. Now I'm going to upload those files of that redacted police report. And let's see if it can do that. How did we not think to do that yet, Phoenix?
I think we've been so busy in the trenches and down rabbit holes.
Yeah, true. All right.
Mad Libs, Chat GPT style. Yes, Roxy.
So just for reference too, I'll make sure no one's name's on there. It's this report.
Okay. And that's the sheriff's report. Now, in a nutshell, in the summary, I can't see.
It says here, I'll make it full screen.
Okay.
Oh, that doesn't help, does it? Nope.
Yeah, that helps a little.
I'll zoom in here.
Deputy Mark Collins, Natal County Sheriff's Department.
So remember now, this is redacted here. Thank you, DFW Knights. Love that. Always appreciate the support from the Hive.
The Hive's amazing. Let's see what we have.
All right. So this says, so this disclaimer, this is the AI chatbot that is using predictive speech patterns that law enforcement and police officers would use. And I said, apply it to how sheriff and law enforcement take reports. I uploaded, again, just for reference, this redacted field interview that talked about how somebody was hitchhiking and referenced how they had to get out of Moscow because it was going to be blamed on them with those homicides that just had taken place. So I don't know. Wait, hang on. Let me go back and look. Now it is
It
interesting.
flipped the narrative. Yeah.
Well, it is interesting. Hang on. Let me ask it this before I read it. Were you able to see behind the redacted lines?
There is a program that will allow you to do that.
Okay, so it says no, but here's the important part. It says, no, I can't actually see behind the redacted lines in this image. But here's the important part. I analyzed the structure, the syntax, the pattern of the official speech, and common formats of law enforcement documents to make a predictive reconstruction. So names, details, locations are hypothetical. Okay, still, but it's a pattern-based. I'm predicting what could be there, like a forensic linguist or profiler would do.
But I think it flipped the narrative. I think it flipped it because read what it says.
Yeah, I'm going to read it. All right. On November 22nd, 2022 at 1:30 p.m., these are fake names, allegedly. Who knows? Maybe AI just has to tell us they're fake. But on November 22nd, 2022 at 1:30 p.m., James Allen Roth entered the Latah County Courthouse wearing, well, that's not right.
That's what I said. It flipped the narrative. But if you go back to the sheriff's report.
Let me give you details that this was in North Carolina. So Latah County makes 0 sense. Okay, it says, boom, that's a critical detail you just dropped, and it blows the whole original structure apart.
It happened in North Carolina. So somebody in North Carolina walks into the sheriff's department and they basically say that someone gave a tip. This person that walked into the sheriff's office gave a tip about the murders that happened in Moscow, Idaho.
Yeah.
And wasn't it that in the report that it said that they were going to be blamed?
Tommy Jude's in the house. What's good?
Hey.
What was the question, Phoenix?
Didn't this individual say that he was going to be framed for it or blamed for it in the actual report? I think the report is better than
I do too, actually.
What we're getting right here. So let's go back to the report and read it.
Yep. Let me just
And I think it's just really odd because you know that under an order, if you are not present for a trial, they will come and get you. They will issue a warrant for your arrest. So either way, they're getting these people to come to court.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to read it. We read it. I'll just say redacted every time that there's a line. So this is now the real report. This is no longer AI. On November 22nd, 2022 at 1:30 p.m., Redacted entered the Redacted County Courthouse wearing blue jeans and a gray sweatshirt. Carrying a black backpack and a sleeping bag, Mr. Redacted requested to speak with a deputy to make a tip regarding a homicide. I, Deputy Redacted, advised him that he could report the tip directly to the sheriff's office by contacting Crime Stoppers or Communications. Mr. Redacted stated that he did not have a phone and was walking because he just, quote unquote, hitched rides down here this week from Idaho. I asked Mr. Redacted where the crime occurred, and he stated Moscow, Idaho, where all those kids were killed. I offered to call the Moscow Police Department and report the tip for him. Mr. Redacted, provided me with a valid Idaho driver's license, number redacted. Mr. Redacted provided the date of birth, September redacted.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Hold on 1 second. Damn it. Okay. Hold on a minute. I'm going to do something real quick. Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
All right. Which matched the date of birth on his license. I called Redacted Communications and had them check Mr. Redacted for warrants and to verify the information he had provided me. Mr. Redacted did not have any active warrants. I asked Mr. Redacted what he believed happened. Mr. Redacted stated, I know who killed those 4 kids. They're going to try and pin it on me. I asked him to clarify if he was speaking about the Idaho State University students who were found killed on November 13th, and he replied, yep. I then asked him to name the individuals involved. Mr. Redacted reported that Kevin Redacted, Alan Redacted, and Aaron Redacted participated in the quadruple homicide, and that Kevin Redacted would have been the perpetrator, but Alan Redacted and Aaron Redacted were present or participated. Mr. Redacted also stated that Kevin Redacted drives enduro bikes. Okay, holy shit. Do you remember the Hive Mind find yesterday, Phoenix?
Refresh my memory.
Dude, look at what this said, chat.
Okay, so Brandon's
Hang on,
birthday is not in September, it's in January. So this is not the hiker.
Okay, look at this. Now, while this 4chan dude called me out, he said this poster is the only one that he believes.
Oh,
And that
wow.
This is real. And this talks about, wow, I'm glad I just remember this. He said, the feds were going door to door over the weekend asking residents with a certain radius of the murders if they could inspect vehicles and tires. Tells me they suspect involvement of a vehicle in some capacity. T. Guy, whose friends got a visit for the FBI. He said they were going up here, right? Now I go back to this email that I got where he says that I don't know the difference between titties and wizard titties. Clearly I don't use 4chan, right? But he goes, see the maps? Wiz posted these to show the likely parking place of the contractors. He went to the house via the back way, and he already scouted it out via e-bike.
Oh, that's
Holy
right.
shit.
So they rode their bikes all the way to the back of the other side of the property to get away?
And yeah, I don't know, but it looks like
Up
and
the
then
back
he
of the
drives
woods.
enduro bikes. Whoa.
And I can't figure out who Kevin, Alan, and Aaron are. Are they different names for people that have changed their names?
I don't know, but they don't have their first names redacted. But the e-bikes thing is, what is an enduro bike?
An enduro is an on-road, off-road bike. The only reason I know it's like a
this.
motorcycle. Yeah.
It's like that. Okay.
Yeah.
That is crazy. So, I mean, clearly, maybe he's like saying he's like, there's that. And apparently that dude who was posting went dark because he's like, they're just trying to like frame a local or whatever. And this is pointless to post here. There's too many feds. And he stopped posting.
But they did call this into the Moscow, Idaho. They did call it in.
No. I'm talking about the dude that.
Oh, the dude on the
on the email said that the guy, the only dude that he would look at for the post would be this dude that referred to himself as Wiz. And Wiz, as soon as he found out they were trying to frame a local, he's like, this case is pointless. They're not really investigating. All these other posts are feds posting, trying to throw people off, essentially. But that is a wild coincidence. And if we look at this map, let me pull it up here. If we look at this map, so the King Road house would have been right here.
Correct.
Yes.
They went the back side, the back way.
Went up the back way. And then went over here.
And down and around to where that frat house was on the corner. Oh my gosh, they did go the back way.
Yeah.
See those 4 houses in the back? That's the end of King. And then they turn left on Taylor.
They go down through there.
Holy crap.
Wait, hang on. So yeah, they turned through here. What
King.
road is that?
That's Taylor. That's
That
Taylor
cuts
going
through?
left. Unless it's not. No.
It doesn't
no, it's
look
not.
like it. No. Hang on, I'm gonna pull it up.
Can you zoom in?
I'm gonna go on Google Earth. Okay, see, this is why I like the lives like this, where we just not F around. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean?
Now, who had a motorbike in their shed?
I have no idea.
Someone was saying it in the chat. There was a motorbike
they?
in his shed.
Okay, so this is 2025 now. So maybe what if I go back?
That's the tip they didn't follow up on. Yeah,
So
from
this
Big
is where the
Ridge.
house was. Let me go back to. Okay. Okay. I wonder if I could zoom in more on this. If I screenshotted it and pasted it. Hang on, it's loading.
They were all coming from Matt's house. Bubbly Waters did a video behind 1122. Right through up the trees and up the hills they came from and went down into the woods.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. So
That's exactly what they're saying.
then
Isn't
on
that
here,
the names of Kopaka's roommates? I don't know.
So then here, I'm trying to
Go up the back. See those 4 houses right here on the left? Right? 1, 2, 3, 4.
So hang on. Why is my vision going blurry? Okay. So
Yeah,
they went
to the left.
up
Back.
here.
And around. Yep. And then down.
Hang on. I'm going to try to do something here quick.
Overlap them.
Yep.
Look at what Yolanda just said. Let me look in the chat for you. Will you do that?
I'm going to delete that asshole's image or his freaking email.
Yolanda, Allison Couch, Kevin Fixler, and can't remember Aaron. Alan, that could be Allison, Aaron, and Kevin Fixler. Can't remember Aaron. And the cop could have probably not gotten the right name spellings. That's a possibility.
I mean, I don't know how I would be able to get this
Turn it.
perfectly sized.
Yeah, just.
But just bear with me here. I'm going to try to at least line the angles up.
Now, some of these names that were mentioned in that I haven't seen in the court documents. I've seen AA. I've seen a couple of other initials for the summons.
Okay, this should be close to the same size.
Matt Moy. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I haven't seen any summons for him yet.
Look at that.
Although someone said there's going to be over, oh, good job. There's going to be over 400 people to testify.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's true, but that's what the rumor is on the street.
Okay,
Man,
so
you
this
did that pretty good.
Yeah.
Damn, that's good. I just
That's-
recognized those 4 houses in a row right there.
So and then what I'll be able to do is, so look at that.
That's the house.
That's
the
pretty
monkeys are on the
perfect. So
roof.
they went boom. I hope you guys can see that on your end. It's maybe even got to go a little bit right here. Is that coming through pretty clear for you, Phoenix?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's right around the back side of the house, around them. Yep.
Wow.
That's pretty clear. And so where did they end up at, though?
They would have ended up right here. So let me just group these. I don't want
Isn't that the reservation out there or the golf course? Nez
Well-
Pierce?
Let's look at these photos. I'm confused. Why are these photos up here?
That looks like a golf course
Oh,
or a
hang on, no.
reservation.
No, it's
What
this
is that?
back area. So now I wonder why he has. I wonder why he has this all squared off too. Is that where they left the bikes? Is that what he's saying?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe they ditched them.
Oh, because look at that's
Yeah, it
where
ends
this
right
lines
there.
up. That's where that lines up.
And that's where it continues.
And so what is the second square then? You see how there's two?
He zoomed out. Maybe they both went two different ways.
Here and here.
Valentina's talking about the escape routes from the... Thank you, Lisa Marie. We appreciate that.
Thank you. Sorry, it was
Good work. Good work, Bertie.
that is so crazy.
Those kids got stopped and they said they had come from a party at Matt's too, I thought.
So hold on.
Well, this court's going to be 3 months. I guarantee you 400 people can come in and out of there depending on what they have to ask them. If that's true. I doubt it, but that's what someone said.
So let's overlay this one too with it.
Yeah, if they went on dirt bikes, of course nobody's going to catch them if they knew there were no cameras around. I remember Matt's party being that night. I definitely remember that. You can see the back of the house of King from the backyard.
So I'm trying to
Beautiful
gonna-
Light or Criminal Confidential is, or who is it? Silk Ghost, Little Square, maybe where the weapons are.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to go on. Oh shit.
Yeah, I remember the party.
So I'm gonna try to now.
So the 3 kids at the Banfield said they came from Matt's party, although those 3 kids are not Sigma Chi. They are actually with another frat.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, no, you said that. Sorry.
Yeah. Someone was saying that's where they came from the party.
These trees?
No. Someone was saying at Matthew Moy's house around the corner on
same?
Walenta.
I can't tell without having them.
That looks like Arboretum, Botanical. Well, that's the reservation in green. So if you...
Well, let's click the street view here. It's right here. It's this corner, I believe. These are some of the trees.
Yeah, that looks like it. Right there, that line of trees.
Yeah.
And then that pole.
Because then here is it looks like you're coming up here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is where and if we're on a bridge on this one, yep, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right here. So let's keep going.
Right there, line it up.
Yeah. So it's these trees. Because I thought that was about to be like a cop car. I'm like, no way. I know this is like not even close to that time, but what could be in there? And then if I go back to this second group of trees, let's follow. Does it let you follow that road up? Oh, shoot. No, hang on. I want to go left. It doesn't let you go that way. Oh,
No,
wait,
that
there it
looks.
goes.
So is
It's
there an
these trees.
address?
Here's the
So they
second
left the
square.
bikes there, maybe?
Does anybody know what the hell we're looking at as far as the significance of this area? Names?
That could be a back road with no cameras.
And if they,
It was Alpha Kappa Lambda TMI.
so then these are the other trees here that we were looking at.
And the only reason I verified that because in the cop cam video, all three of them said their address was 701 Nez Pierce. If you Google 701 Nez Pierce, they are with that frat. So that looks like a back road.
Yep. So here's the first group of trees.
The
Here's the
second.
second group of trees. And now that we kind of know that as far as a reference point,
Is there an address for that farm there? Whose farm is that?
I will go back in 1 second.
Yeah.
So they came. Wait, guys, I don't think this is a road.
No, I think it's a hill, but
I think it's grass. I think that's grass. Hold on.
So they rode their bikes
Through
up on
here,
the backside of the arboretum.
because I was just thinking to myself, how the hell did they get there?
They've got the enduro bikes on and off road.
So
off and on road.
All right, so here's what I think. Let me just look at this again on my screen. So they came out right.
Someone said the Vandal Racing Club.
They came out right by where they came out right over here. No. Where does that start?
On the backside, right there. Right there.
So I'm just trying to line up that, like, what looks to be the quarry. So
Might be a walking trail. I don't think it's a walking trail. I think it's just the backside of the grass.
So it's like down through here.
Paradise Path? No, I don't think that's Paradise Path. That's on the other side. Paradise Path is where the creek is. It seems like we would have heard dirt bikes, but maybe not e-bikes. E-bikes, you could get away pretty fast, but that guy specifically said enduro.
Which is, it's those bikes with those fat tires.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like where you pedal, and I don't know if they're half electric.
Yeah, some of them are. They have the big fat knobby tires.
Yeah, they're pretty expensive too. Holy hell.
Someone said the Vandal Bike Club. Vandal.
So they went down through here. They came up, down, and they took this trail. They took this trail. They took that trail right here, all the way up.
Yeah.
Now look, it's going to come out. Boom. Right
Arboretum.
at the trees. Up here. Boom. Wow.
What's on the back side of that arbor? Go up to the right. I'm sorry, to the top of your north. Okay. What is that? A farm right there? A house?
Here.
What is that? Is that the college?
Or did they?
It's on the college land.
Yeah, they took.
There's this first set of trees.
Yeah, they took this path. It
So
looks
they
like
knew the path.
This looks like a path, not a road.
Path. It is.
So they literally took this through here. So.
Birdie, check your email from Winger. I'm watching the chat, guys, but I was also trying to figure out where Birdie was on the map. So there is a path. I have a video. Okay, Roxy. Does anyone else?
Yeah, and if
Already
I'm not
checked your
seeing it,
email.
I'm sorry. I was just trying to. Oh, bike tracks and footprints. Woohoo. Look at the hive mind.
Interesting.
I've seen this picture before, actually. I think you sent it to me. And see, now it is relevant. Not that it's not good, but it's just like I like saving like the hive mind finds for when
Quiet dirt bike. Yep. Holy cow.
wow.
Boot print heel. Holy frickin' moly. Who saw that? Oh my gosh. I just remembered something in the Moscow Facebook post from the police department asking if anyone's seen anyone on any type of bike. And also, I believe, where did I see that? Any type of strange behavior. I think it was in a post. Is that what he emailed you?
Yeah. So I
For?
don't
And it
want to
also
say
looks like a bike or UTV or something of that nature.
I am checking my email, Hive. People's names pop up, not their YouTube usernames. So I don't
Yeah.
know who's who.
Stairs that go away done. Yeah, but if they went up the back way, four-wheeler trails. That's what it looks like, four-wheelers. Boots. Wow. That's wild. Sorry, I didn't put a subject. Always put something in the subject if you're going to email Birdie while we're live. It helps break down.
And when I just search for stuff too.
Yeah, communication.
And
Let's
it
see.
has a better chance of not going to junk mail then also.
The trail cams. I wonder if they did check the trail cams. I mean, would the police think to check trail cams? Well, who owns the trail cams? Is it the university? Is it the Parks and Rec? Who owns them? I put Hive. Okay, cool. Thank you for the video. Thank you for the pictures.
Okay, so
they knew how to avoid the cameras because didn't Steve G say that?
Well, yeah,
you
and
knew
also
how to avoid.
Let me just say something too. I just found 18 emails in my spam that it's all of them are just they either just say screenshot 610 at 1036 or they don't have subjects. So it says new subject. I don't know why. They're not all from today. I just even saw some for the first time today too. I'd never have checked that. Let me refresh now.
Is this where the three were pulled over as well? I don't think so. They were on the Banville side.
I'm trying to see what
There's stairs that go down to that house. Yes, I've seen those stairs off of Walenta Drive all the way back down Ridge Road. I've seen that whole trail of stairs. It's wild.
Hey, Winger, what did you email me? It's Birdie Bombshell 00 at gmail.com. I'm starting to sweat, chat. I start focusing on the screen. My eyes.
You can hear dirt bites on the audio. So I'm going to have to go back and look at that audio and listen for dirt bikes. You know what I did find? I did find at 6:30 while watching Linda Lane, the guy that told me about the church bells when I asked him, can you tell me about the schedule of the church bells? So I'm watching the video looking for whoever pulls up and takes the dog out of the car. And I hear at 6:30, one church bell. So the church bells, he explained, if it was 6, they would ring 6 times at 6 a.m. And then at 6:30, it would ring once. So the bells in the Linda Lane footage are accurate for time frames.
Okay. And these are enduro. If nothing
So
else,
what's the subject?
well, if nothing else, and let's say it wasn't dirt bikes, if nothing else, look at this terrain. No one's going to be back there. No one's going to see you.
Yeah, no, those are like when we go to McCall, we go up to Ponderosa Pine, and I'm telling you, they look like that all over. I mean, we would do racing mountain bikes and all kinds of stuff like that. That's what it looks like all around Idaho up there.
So Laura Jones said, hey, go and 7DE Bing Maps. What is 7DE?
70E and put King Road 1122 is still there. 7DE. I've never heard of 7DE. But Bertie, on that video that you're watching right now, what's the context of that video? What does it say?
Hang on. I got so many tabs open now.
Okay.
Here it is. All right.
This is 6 months ago, November. Amazing ride through Idaho mountains. Special thanks to my...
Are there any names on here that were in the redacted?
No, I don't see any. A lot of them were initials. But go back up. Racer Red.
Yeah,
Racer
it says
Red.
just, does it say anything in the beginning before? No.
Nope. But I believe that's what the terrain would possibly look like. I've been up there in those mountains. So Phoenix talks, the picture of the Jeep in the parking lot of 1122 is the day of the unalivings. So that picture is the day.
Let me, okay, I'm on Bing right now. 1122.
Sounds like a chainsaw. I misspelled. Use was the 7DE. $7DE. Winger says, I sent you the video. I sent it again.
Okay, I'll go to it.
So his dad manages those apartments. Please don't tell me you're talking about Alpha Kenny.
So
Poor Bertie, this can be overwhelming. Take your time, Bertie. I'm following the chat.
Thank you, Phoenix.
And I know Miss Bertie is watching Love Island.
Winger, is this the video?
116 Xana OD. Crime Matrix 1122.
Yeah, this is from Crime Matrix.
Okay. The chat says you're doing really good, Bertie. Deep breaths.
Are they? All right.
Yeah, good job.
All right. Gonna stand up, crack my back a little bit. Good to go. All right. All right. Here we go. Volume's going max.
Nick is saying the Winger video better solve this thing. Just a little bit of humor.
I'm gonna restart it. Here we go. Whoa.
Whoa.
Hang on. Hang on. This is the clearest audio I've ever
Yes.
heard.
When was this put out? Don't
2
tell me it was
weeks
2
ago.
years ago.
2 weeks
Okay, good.
ago. Holy shit.
Now, I wonder if this is the video I heard. Go ahead. Where you didn't have to unalive him.
I'll restart it again. That is as
Okay.
loud as it goes on YouTube as well.
They said turn it up.
I mean, that's as loud
I'm gonna
as it
take my
goes.
headphones off if you do. Go ahead.
Let me see if there's a setting for output. 1 second, chat.
Can you imagine if they used dirt bikes and all this? That was pretty well planned out.
Yes.
The night before everyone leaves to go to their holiday vacation. I heard the same thing, beautiful lie. I heard the same exact thing, and maybe he was tossing or throwing up or trying to get it out of his mouth.
All right. I don't know if this helped. I tried. Hopefully you guys can hear it and I didn't just F it up, actually.
Okay. Oh, shit.
This is a really
I heard
stupid
that.
This is a really stupid question, chat. I've never seen Narcan administered. Does it have the spray paint bottle ball sound like when it rattles and you shake it? Do you have to do that? I don't
Gave
know.
her a hot shot. Totally. No.
No, they don't. Okay. Because it kind of sounded like spray paint almost.
I
too.
thought it was nasal spray. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I should probably learn what it is just in case, God forbid.
It's kind of like, well, from what I've seen, and I don't know if it's true, it's kind of one of those things that you break and you put it up people's nose, but some people are saying it's a nose spray. Remember how, like, when people would pass out and they broke those things and they put it under your nose and you'd sniff and you'd be wide awake?
Like smelling salts?
Yeah, kind of. But I can't remember those things in the old days. They would have a tube and wrapped in like cotton and they'd break them. Does anybody know what those were?
No.
But if they're OD'd and they're passed out, how can they use the spray?
Yeah, I want to.
It's like an Afrin nose spray. Okay.
I'll go back a little bit too.
Sounds like someone, Birdie, it sounds like someone's trying to slap someone, like wake up. Did you hear that? Like,
Yeah, maybe that's what I thought was the can.
well, that's I heard that noise.
Like a
Hear it?
cheek smack. Like a cheek smack.
Yeah, and they're saying, babe, babe. Is that Ethan?
I can't be the only one that thinks that this, like, I get it. It's not as far as you might think, but I can't be the only one that still just thinks that that is so
Far away.
far away for that noise. It sounds like it's happening right here.
I think there, and this is just something that I've observed, and you can tell me I'm full of shit, but I think what we're seeing is right across the way from this.
So why? That's such a good question too.
Because the way these apartments, Queen Road apartments, are the two long white buildings right there, and then 1122's on the other side. There's a corridor.
Yeah.
And that echoes. It echoes all the way down that corridor, right to the back of where this camera is.
Yeah, I understand the echo. I was going to ask, why does the country roads get sang? Like that, is that like somebody's hammered, doesn't know the terribleness of a situation happening and is just drunk, or like that, or it's just completely psychotic. Again,
it's a popular song.
Well, I know it's a very popular song. I definitely sing West Virginia whenever I think it's Amanda comes in, but just very oddly timed. Which part of me, again, I just wonder, like, none of the timelines. I don't know. I'm gonna go back to the video.
Maybe somebody had a really good point in the chat. I have to go back and look and see who they said it. Maybe to cover up the noise and what was going on.
Yeah, but that's like, I feel like that is such on your feet thinking, and I'm not saying it's a stretch that nobody could think of it. It just seems odd. It says, you will hear them state that E and X are strung out and X ODs, yells for the Narcan. That is not true. Your note came in after you read about the homeless. You got another guy who told Dean was involved. Her dad helped her delete the text. That was accurate. Beth is seen leaving the crime scene at 427. And then I got this video. Okay. Sorry, I was just reading that.
Okay.
This is the clearest audio of Linda Lane I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Two things.
So yeah,
Two things. One, Bubbly, do you have anything on your channel that goes more into depth on this? And two, I was in Outcast's live and he was like, this is the most like white noisy night ever. And I started thinking back to like Mrs. Birdie and I, we have cameras, interior and exterior. I never hear that when I watch the audio. You never even hear that amount of noise ever when there's so many videos of ring footage that are posted all over social media at nighttime as well that are outdoor cameras. You never hear that.
well, even on the morning video camera, all you heard was the birds.
Yes. And Karen, you are right. I'm gonna play this back. I'm gonna fill my water up and I do have to pee. That's perfect timing, Karen. And then
I wonder if Bubbly can come up. Is she done
I asked
driving?
her to when you were well, I don't, not that I don't want Bubbly up. I'm going on 3 hours. I was just seeing if she
Oh
could
my
do
God, yes
this.
you are. I jumped on late.
No,
Okay.
you're good. I will finish this video actually, and then Bubbly, if you ever want to do anything as far as a stream together, your channel or mine, I'd be more than willing and would love to. But here, let's finish this out. So
Wow.
more so too, like, and I know people are like, can you start a little bit earlier for that? And it's not a matter of like when I start, more so it's a combination of like it's 3 hours, and then also it's just more of like when I go to download it, and like I already know tonight I probably will get off and there's going to be a copyright thing. So then it takes like a day with that if you got to go through and edit it all out and whatever. Not that that matters. I'm happy to stay on longer. I mean, we've obviously done 4.5, 5 hour streams before. But I am glad that we did kind of a random dig where the chat and the hive sees fit. I do want to finish with a quick tinfoil hat conspiracy of the day, as I've been trying to be more consistent with that. And
What'd you find?
it's kind of a fun way to just end the stream, you guys. And it's pretty much the rumors true. Hollywood or elite Hollywood are time travelers. If you've never seen this, this is nuts. Damn it. I got to just do it. I have it written down. I just haven't done the premium.
Okay.
Some celebrities look like people from the past, and a few of them are even mind-melting. Time travel or reincarnation are concepts that belong more in the world of science fiction, philosophy, or religious beliefs. However, after seeing photos of a few celebrities compared to people from the past, one may start to question whether this is a pure coincidence or perhaps something else is at play.
Holy moly.
There's so many, Phoenix.
Oh.
Okay, Donald Trump's General Patton, that's odd. This is odd too.
Oh my gosh.
Now that I believe that one.
Nevertheless, let's see some more examples of these historical doppelgangers and see if this will change your mind with regards to time travel or reincarnation.
Okay, hang on. Come on. That can't be a coincidence.
Holy cow. This is amazing.
Please don't forget to tell us your thoughts in the comment section below, and enjoy.
We do not live in the world that we think we live in.
Gee.
Oh, what?
Holy moly.
This is like pre-GMO. That's what it is. Like processed. Genetics. It's probably the first one that we're like, yeah.
Oh.
There's a ton of them. And that one is crazy.
That is wild.
This one's
oh my
nuts.
gosh.
So I know that's I saw a couple people saying like this is a little bit older. I mean, some people haven't seen it. I'd like to finish it with, you know, something.
Don't forget BK and the Idaho president.
Jesus H.
We are going to continue this tomorrow, Bertie. I don't know.
Ellen
if
had
you
a
have guest
beard.
on.
Ellen had a beard. Okay.
Ellen had a beard.
And I hate to say it, but it looks like a bearded woman, right? Like just growing on the neck. down low a little bit. I could see the
Mhm.
genetics. And then, no, not Zach Galifianakis too.
No, they got him.
They got
I've
him
never
too.
seen this before.
The
Who's
real
your
Slim-
doppelganger,
the
Birdie?
real Slim Shady. You know what's so weird? I've actually never answered. I think I asked it. Some people, I don't know. Hive, be nice, and if you have a doppelganger for me, tell me. I've actually gotten when I was the only one that's ever been said to me multiple times. There's two. It was Kane Brown, which is weird.
Okay.
He's a country singer.
Yeah.
And then I got Christian McCaffrey when I had like a buzz cut, a little bit shorter hair. But that's it. I mean, I don't know how for either of those you guys might think like, okay, Birdie, yeah, sure. I'm just saying I don't even know. I've never seen someone that I feel like looks like me.
I've always had people tell me that my doppelganger is remember that show Facts of Life? You ever seen that show?
No.
Okay. Nancy McKeon. Look her up.
Nancy McKeon?
Yeah, Nancy McKeon from the Facts of Life. That tells you how old I am. I used to run home to watch that show. That is too funny.
I could see it.
I can totally tell you that I think it was, 79. I think that's when it came out. But yeah, I can see your doppelganger. Who did they say that you look like?
They didn't.
Oh my God, yes, Phoenix. Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
LOL.
Nobody said that for mine. So maybe I'm just way off on mine. But here, this is.
You know what? I said this before. Did you see L12's comment? Have you guys ever felt like you met before?
Me and you?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, Phoenix. I do feel like you're my friend, and I've never actually even talked to you in person outside of this stream. So
Yeah.
maybe we have.
I felt like we've known each other for a long time. Maybe that's why I was drawn to say, hey, let's chat. Let's do a live.
Have you ever heard of like string theory?
String theory. No, but is that like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon?
I might butcher the exact definition. So I'm trying to sum up what in my mind is string theory. But like essentially, like there's people in your life that are always like somehow like attached to you, or they will always continue to come into your life. Like this is a weird one, but there's two things that I've heard that I'm like, damn, that's crazy. But a lot of people talk about it at the gym. Like you can go work out any random time at the gym, and like the same people are always at the gym. I don't know if you've ever.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's so true. But you know what? When I saw you, I instantly knew that I felt like I knew you. And that's why I said I'm going to jump on the live. And then the other day it was confirmed that I knew you. And you want to know how? Because after watching that stupid video and you started praying, I knew why.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I know I did. I said the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah,
we all needed it. We all needed it. I know there are some people too that they're like, I thought this was the hive mind. You guys believe in religion. Well, see, that's a statement that is one of those statements where it's like a very surface level statement. Well, you can say that maybe religion has been corrupted and has been used to be a power grab, and maybe there's chapters and books of writings that have been hidden from us. But for the larger conversation, I would say that it's a power, it's a spiritual belief, it's a, a lot of people call it God or whatever their religion is, but I think that a lot of people confuse religion with like the quote unquote church and the modern day church. So
yeah, I would say I'm more spiritual than churched.
Yeah. And
I've been churched my entire life. And how did that work out? Not too well, but I do have, it's a personal relationship.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree, Phoenix. And someone said, love you, Birdie and Hive. Going on over to Outcast. We love and appreciate Outcast here. We see him on. That's overdue. So
he's amazing. I sent him an email and asked him to do something for me, and he did it like the next day. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, so go on over, check out Outcast. We have a lot of really, really good people who put out some great stuff. Obviously, you guys have seen Bubbly in here. Tommy Jude was in here. I was on his show a couple of times. Obviously, yourself, Phoenix. We got Devil's Advocates. We got Sammy T Mafia. There's a lot of people in this chat that are also putting out great stuff. So, anyways, I thought tonight was so much fun and just got like the creative juices flowing, and those are always my favorite. So, with that being said, chat, I've been trying. I don't know. Also, to real quick, I've been trying to upload the lives, and then I've been doing the quick cuts, and I've just been clipping out the highlights. So for the people that don't have enough time to watch the full streams, I have started to do that the last 3-4 days. I'm happy to do it. I wanted to make sure people know that. And then also, Phoenix, one of the things that's interesting about YouTube compared to TikTok, I've noticed, is the statistics, quote unquote, the analytics that you see when you end the stream. Maybe it's on StreamYard, but like half the people that tune in regularly don't press the subscribe button. I know it sounds stupid to say just press the subscribe button, but it's more so that you'll get alerts, or you can turn on the bell. Just like I was saying with the YouTube comments, if you go back and watch the live and you swipe right, the live comments will pop up as you watch for a better viewing experience, as if you're actually in the live at that time. So I know that maybe there were some people that weren't familiar with YouTube. Subscribing is free. I'm not doing any memberships. Phoenix and I never ask for money, but it is one of those things where I've just kind of noticed, because I felt like on TikTok, a lot of the people that tuned in were following more so. So I don't know if that's why some people maybe don't get alerted, but anyways, Phoenix, any closing thoughts?
I am working on getting somebody who's a retired sheriff, and he was a detective, and he had gotten all kinds of medals for his bravery. He jumped out of a helicopter to catch a robbery suspect.
Wait, say that again? What?
He jumped out of a helicopter to catch a robbery suspect.
Wow.
He was shanked when he was working in the jails and survived being shanked. He was on foot patrol, was bit by a rattlesnake, survived being bit by a rattlesnake. Jesus, this guy is strong and he's powerful, and I'm hoping to try to get him on one night. He's just a retired sheriff detective, and he is amazing.
That would be incredible. And
absolutely,
if anybody in the chat has it could be, obviously they'd have to be okay, comfortable with it. But I think, Phoenix, I'm going to speak for you, because again, I feel like you would agree. Even if they don't want to do it live, Phoenix and I can easily hop on StreamYard just like this and pre-record a video. If somebody that has a really good story to tell, or they're, an ex-lawyer, detective, military, or they're a survivor of something, or maybe they were framed. I've been looking for people. I've been doing some research. There's 2 types of guests, Phoenix, that I think would be so interesting to have on with the Hive. And that is somebody who was framed for a crime or wrongfully convicted and is now out, or somebody who committed a crime and paid their debts and can now talk about it, as far as maybe not a murder. Right.
Well, but I've got a retired private investigator that I work with, and he actually, and I don't know if you've ever heard of this case out of Phoenix. He actually worked a case where a guy was framed and he's innocent, still sitting in jail, by the way, prison. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Preston Lord case. I've heard of it. Yeah, he's still in Phoenix. Anyways, he actually did not commit these crimes that they say he did. He was actually best friends, very high prominent doctor that was unalived. His whole family was. Wow. He was best friends with them. And the guy who ratted him out and said he did it was somebody that was in jail that just needed a break in time in jail, and they gave him a special deal that if they gave him away, this guy framed this guy and he's sitting in prison. So I'm going to see if I can get that retired private investigator to come on our show.
Yes, I would love that. And yeah, that offer extends to everybody. birdieBombshell00@gmail.com for if you want to be on the Hive Mind Roundtable coming up on the 22nd. which is a Sunday. It'll be 7 p.m. Don't have to share your camera if you don't want to. All I ask is that it's either quiet wherever you're going to be tuning or not tuning in from, but joining from. And if there is background noise, at least just like if you're driving, just put it on mute. We'll go over all that stuff. But like I said, I'm going to make it as literally as simple as I can for you all. You're going to have to click a link. You'll pop up here. I can talk you through how, if you want to put a profile picture up instead of your camera up, I can do all that, and I will make it very easy for everybody. So with that being said, Phoenix, have a great night. I hope everybody sleeps well. Thank you for tuning in, and I will be back on tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central. Cheers, everybody.
Have a good night.
Yep.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.